Once a script is finished, many people assume that that's the story audiences will see. But in reality, a story gets written 3 times: on the page, in production, and in the editing room, where the film will take its final shape. As an editor myself, I see firsthand how the page is just a starting point. And often the first way an editor will rewrite a film is by taking things out. So today we'll be discussing why editors cut scenes or even entire subplots. If you're a screenwriter or a filmmaker, understanding how an editor thinks will help you craft scenes that avoid getting cut in the first place. So let's begin with why editors cut scenes. Every scene in a film or TV series needs to serve a storytelling function. A good scene should either move the plot forward, develop a key character, or build out the world of the film. If a scene doesn't do at least one of these 3 things, it's usually considered not essential to the story. And no matter how great it is, it will likely get cut. There's an example of this in Matt Reeves' The Batman. There's this famous deleted scene where Batman visits the Joker in Arkham Asylum. And in this scene, he tries to get Joker's perspective on the Riddler's psychology. On its own, this is a really cool scene. It's dark, it's creepy, it fits the mood of the Batman perfectly, and Barry Keoghan's interpretation of the Joker, in my opinion, is really cool. So it begs the question, why did this scene get deleted? And the simple answer is because it didn't do anything for the narrative of the story. In it, the Joker essentially tells Batman that he and the Riddler have a lot in common.
You two have so much in common. Masked Avengers.
And even calls the Batman out on an insecurity of his, which is he kind of thinks that the victims deserved it.
You think they deserved it?
This information is not anything that's revealed in this scene. It's information that's already established in the rest of the film and actually is even kind of fundamental to Batman's character arc. So aside from essentially retreading a pre-established story element, this scene does not do anything new for the story. So if we go through our checklist, it does not move the plot forward, meaning there's nothing that happens in this scene that sets the rest of the story in motion. This scene does not develop a key character. Granted, it introduces the Joker, but the Joker is not central to the plot of the film, and this scene does not further develop the Batman's character. And this does not build the world of the film, meaning there's nothing revealed in this scene that gives us a further understanding of how the world operates. So essentially, this scene does not fulfill any of the 3 criteria, and therefore it is not essential and it got cut. Here's what Matt Reeves had to say about the scene.
It was one of these things where narratively it wasn't necessary. You got everything that Barry was telling him, that the Joker was telling him over the course of the movie, and given the great length of the movie, it helped the story to take the scene out. But I always really loved the work that Barry and Rob did in the scene.
This scene is a perfect example of a great scene that works really well on its own. It's cool, it's engaging to watch, it's fun. But in the larger tapestry of the film, it just doesn't fit. This is sometimes what editors and filmmakers call kill your darlings, meaning you get rid of a scene that you love for the overall betterment of the film. So here's a pro tip for screenwriters. Whenever you're writing a scene, ask yourself, if I remove this scene, will the story still work? You should always strive to write scenes that if taken out, your whole film would collapse. Now, sometimes it's not just one scene that isn't necessary to the story, but an entire collection of them, often in the form of a subplot. A subplot is a secondary story that runs alongside the main plot. A good subplot should do one of the following: develop a key character, raise the stakes of the main plot, usually through introducing conflict, and expand on the film's central theme. If a subplot doesn't do at least one of these things, it's usually not strong enough to make it into the film. For example, the original cut of Titanic had a full-fledged romantic subplot that was cut out. So we all know Jack and Rose's epic love story, but there was a subplot between Jack's friend Fabrizio and a Norwegian girl named Helga. Here's how the subplot played out in the film. Fabrizio notices Helga while getting settled in his third-class cabin. Fabrizio and Helga communicate despite a language barrier. and dance together during the third class party. It's actually funny, in the final cut of the film, you can see them dancing together, but you actually don't get the entire romantic context that goes along with it. And then their love story ends when, as the ship is sinking, they cross paths and he begs her to come to America with him. Her parents, however, refuse to let her go and they say goodbye forever. So this to me sounds like a beautiful love story and would probably make a really compelling film on its own. But in the larger context of the film, it just doesn't serve the main story. And that's mainly because Fabricio and Helga's relationship does not impact Jack and Rose's love story at all. And Jack and Rose's love story is the main story of the film. And because it doesn't do that, it does not develop a key character, it by definition does not raise the stakes of the main plot, and their relationship does not expand on the film's central theme. In my opinion, the central theme of Titanic is love transcending class, which is very much shown by Jack and Rose's love story. However, it's not shown in Fabricio and Helga's love story because they're of the same class. Fabricio and Helga are both third-class passengers. So unlike Jack and Rose's relationship, there isn't this social class divide element that's brought into their relationship, and therefore their relationship does not reinforce the central theme in any way. There was also another flaw that this subplot had, which arguably is the most fatal flaw any subplot can have. And that is that the director, James Cameron, felt that this subplot pulled the focus away from Jack and Rose's love story. And a subplot must never detract from the main plot. It must always support it. So here's a pro tip for you screenwriters out there. When you're developing a subplot, ask yourself 2 questions. If I remove this subplot, does the story work just as well? And does this subplot clash with the main plot? If the answer is yes to either one of those, it either needs to go or needs to be rewritten in a way where the answer is no to both of those questions. At the end of the day, an editor's job is to tell a story as clearly and powerfully as possible. And sometimes that might mean making some tough decisions and killing some darlings and getting rid of scenes or subplots that you love that just don't serve the overall story. So by asking yourself the right questions in the writing and production phases, you'll be able to craft scenes and subplots that are essential to the story. And you'll therefore be putting together a film that will really work well in the edit. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please consider subscribing for more video editing and filmmaking insights like this. And please let me know in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear from you. What did you find helpful? And is there a scene or TV show out there where you really feel that every scene was essential to the story? My name is Maximilien Blanc. I'm a professional video editor and filmmaker. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.